Here for the official weigh-in for UFC 297, Strickland versus Duplessis, and we begin with the man around whom this fight card was built, the undisputed UFC middleweight champion, Sean Strickland.
It always sucks, you know, guys.
184 3/4.
184 3/4, the official weight for the champ, Sean Strickland. All right, next fighter to the scale, taking part in her first UFC title fight in the co-main event for the vacant UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship, the number 3 ranked contender, Maida Bueno Silva.
$135.
135, the official weight for Maida Bueno Silva. All right, next fighter to the scale, getting her second crack at UFC Gold, the number 2 ranked bantamweight contender, Raquel Pennington.
$134.8.
134.8, the official weight for Raquel Pennington. With that, your UFC Women's Bantamweight title fight is now official. All right, next athlete to the scale, one of the best featherweights in the world, charged with kicking off the pay-per-view main card, number 4 in the world, Arnold Almighty Allen.
$145.5.
145.5, the official weight for Arnold Allen. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the men's flyweight division, Jimmy Flick.
$126.
126 for Jimmy Flick. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim, live on ESPN in the women's strawweight division, Poliana Viana.
$115 3/4.
115 3/4, the official weight for Poliana Viana. All right, next fighter to the scale, the other gentleman around whom this entire fight card was built, the number 2 ranked middleweight contender, challenging for the undisputed title here Saturday night, Dracus Still Knocks du Plessis.
$184.
184 pounds, the official weight for Dracus du Plessis. And with that, your UFC 297 championship main event is now official. All right, next fighter to hit the scale this morning, competing in the featured prelim in the men's bantamweight division, former 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner, Brad Katona.
$136.
136, the official weight for Winnipeg's finest, Brad Katona. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's welterweight division, we welcome Sam Patterson.
$169.5.
169.5, the official weight for Sam Patterson. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, the number 14 ranked middleweight contender in the world, the action man, Chris Curtis.
How you guys doing?
$185.25.
185.25, the official weight for Chris Curtis.
One day I get it.
All right, next fighter to the scale, also competing live on pay-per-view in a featured bout in the welterweight division, the man many fans have come to see, proper Mike Malott.
$170.5.
170.5, the official weight for Burlington's own Mike Malott. All right, next fighter to the stage, repping Niagara, Ontario, Canada, competing in the women's bantamweight division, Jasmine Jazz Davisius.
Don't move, please. $133.
133 for Jasmine Jazz Davisius. And now to the stage, her opponent in that women's bantamweight prelim, Zombie Girl Priscilla Cachoeira.
133 and a half.
133 and a half, the official weight for Priscilla Cachoeira. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on pay-per-view in the middleweight division, Quebec's own Power Bar Marc-Andre Barrio.
$184 and a half.
184 and a half, the official weight for Marc-Andre Barrio. All right, next fighter to the scale, oncoming force in the featherweight division, Charles Air Jourdain.
$145 and a half.
145 and a half, the official weight for Charles Jourdain. All right, next athlete to the stage, making his UFC debut in the bantamweight division, Surrey City.
$135.
135, the official weight for Surrey City. All right, next athlete to the stage, competing in the women's strawweight division, the most decorated submission artist across all the UFC women's divisions, Jillian the Savage Robertson.
$115 and 3/4.
115 and 3/4, the official weight for Jillian Robertson. All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, the other half of the featured prelim in the bantamweight division, Garrett Armfield.
Yes, please.
I think I got Michael Chandler beat.
135 and 1/4.
135 and 1/4, the official weight for Garrett Armfield. All right, next athlete to the stage, competing in the welterweight division, Yohan Lainez.
$170 3/4.
170 3/4, the official weight for Yohan Lainez.
Let's go!
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim in the featherweight division, the sniper Sean Woodson.
$145.5.
145.5, the official weight for Sean Woodson.
Next.
Step in there. I want your hands up, okay? Hands up. Thank you. $127.5.
127.5 for Malcolm Gordon, a pound and a half over the flyweight limit. All right, our final athlete to weigh in this morning, making his UFC debut in the bantamweight division, Ramon Taveras.
$139 3/4.
139 3/4, 3 3/4 pounds over the bantamweight limit.